Good morning, friends, and welcome to WildOne Forever's The Morning Nosh with me, Meredith Loughran. Today is May 11th, 2020, and this is our pilot episode. That's right, this is episode number 1. Now, before I share what The Morning Nosh is all about, I want to turn on the time machine for anyone who comes back to episode 1 from some point in the future. We are currently about 2 months into what I call the Great Pause, that is COVID-19. People have been practicing social distancing. Some people have been in quarantine or isolation. Businesses have been closed, conventions are canceled or rescheduled, and the United States, for all intents and purposes, has shut down. But we're on the precipice of reopening businesses again. And there are a lot of people who don't know if it's safe to go out in public or if they should stay home. Do you wear a mask? Don't you wear a mask? And just as much as that is divided, so is the political atmosphere. It's really to a point where people are really dug in on their side. And I see a lot of negativity out in the world. I see a lot of people who don't have a tolerance for other people's opinions. So the Morning Nosh is none of those things. And after today, I'm not going to mention the negative things that are happening in the world. And it's not because I have rose-colored glasses. It's not because I'm a Pollyanna. It's because there's already enough of that in the world. And if that's what you want, you might as well turn off this programming right now and turn on the news. So here's what I hope that this show will be. The Morning Nosh is a show that I hope will bring a little love and light to the start of your day. Life is hard enough without the dark whispers of fear and divisiveness. I want to uplift you. I would like to give you a boost and assure you that you are going to be okay. We are going to be okay. And as long as we keep a positive mindset and take things as they come, one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 moment at a time. Sometimes we have to pivot on a second. If we do this with positive thoughts, affirmations, or mantras that get us through the day, then at the end of the day, we win. Now, in the spirit of transparency, I'm going to let you know that the Morning Nosh is going to be exclusively available on Podbean for a pledge of $5 a month beginning May 18th, 2020. And we're doing that because there are fees associated to running a podcast. It costs money to start a website, to get into the network, to get your servers up and running, and it costs money for equipment, and it takes time to edit all of these for public consumption. So there are overhead fees that are usually unseen, and right now they are out of pocket. So we wanted to keep it as minimal as possible because we know that there are a lot of people who would benefit from listening in to the positive messaging that we want to share, but at the same time not break the bank. And trust me when I say we don't want to take your last dollar. And we do have plenty of programming, whether it's on the website or we're going to have a weekly show with interviews, that there's enough free content for your consumption that this is kind of a bonus. And we hope that you support it, and we understand that if you can't. And if you can't, that's It's not anything that we are going to be offended about, but we do hope that you can at least hit the share button and let your friends know that this show is available. Because you never know unless you speak up and share that it could be the thing that they needed that day. And that's the messaging that I really have for WildOne Forever, as well as the Morning Nosh show. So let me talk about WildOne Forever, the website. It is a women-centric website. We are mostly, I would say the majority of our contributors are women. And we are of varying ages and experiences, and we are sharing openly and honestly a lot of our experiences. So there is much wisdom that we will impart. And it's not going to be all serious stuff. We have humor too. But again, we want to talk about the hard things in an honest manner. And maybe to some that feels like therapy. And by having that platform to speak openly and candidly about some of the harder things that we've had to go through. I myself, I'm almost 50, and I love the fact that I'm almost 50. I lived this long. That's so almost a miracle. But I've been through childbirth. I've been through empty nest syndrome. I've been through divorce. I've lost loved ones to cancer. And I've also had some great experiences as far as being an adult student, going back to school when I was in my mid-30s, trying to get my degree, and getting remarried, dealing with a blended family and an extended family. I've had small businesses. I've had experiences where I lost everything, and cars repoed and things like that. I just all of these terrible, terrible things. And despite that, I have a positive outlook. Those are the things that I want to share, that things can get bad, but if you have the right mindset, you can accomplish anything. You can get over that hump. You don't have to be in the dark place. And that's another thing. I do deal with depression. So speaking to you is not always easy. I am not always going to be up and on my game. I've also got Asperger's. It's something that I've dealt with, and people who know me now would probably not believe the fact that I'm an Aspie. But when I was younger, I was very awkward and shy, and I was teased and bullied. It wasn't fun, and it's taken a lifetime of reflection and self-awareness and self-help and speaking to other people who cared to listen to be at a point where people say, oh, well, she's kind of normal. Maybe she's cured. There's no cure for that. There is no cure for it, but we assimilate as best as we can. So these are the things that we're sharing. We want to be true to ourselves when we share our stories. And by doing that, I think there's going to be a genuineness that you might not see in a lot of other places. So wildoneforever.com is really a landing spot for those stories, that wisdom, the honesty, and our truths. I think that's very important. And it is, when I say it's women-centric, I don't mean that it excludes men. And here's a little tidbit. I love sharing this story because it surprises a lot of people. When I was a Mary Kay consultant, I had a table at the mall, and we were giving out the breast exam shower cards. And the women were walking by as fast as they could. They refused to give any eye contact, and they certainly didn't want to look at anything on the table. There was a part of me that thought that was really weird. And on reflection after the fact, I was beginning to think that maybe a lot of these women were in denial. They didn't want to know. They didn't want to see that that is a reality, and they didn't want to bring it into their lives. However, as they were walking by without making the eye contact, their husbands or their sons or their fathers were slowing down to take a look at what was on the table because they care. So that was surprising to me, and I was very pleased to see that that happened. So when I say it's a women-centric site, they're getting a little bit of insight from women of all walks of life in various age groups and demographics, and I'm pretty confident that the men are going to show up because they want a little bit of insight into the women's psyche. Good luck. But that's what we're about. We're not excluding anybody. We want everybody to show up because what we've been through, how we deal with it, how we cope, those are the things that if we can pass it on, the next person coming up, maybe it'll make their path a little bit easier. That's really the goal. And it's the same thing with the Morning Nosh. It's not easy to record something every single day and be committed to that, but I am committed to making the world a little bit better because I had a voice and I finally decided to use it. So thank you for tuning in to the first episode of The Morning Nosh with me, Meredith Loughran. Be sure to tune in Monday through Friday at 8 a.m., available on podbean.wildoneforever.com.